Can someone turn up the thermostat? I'm anemic. For a long time, I thought that being anemic meant that you didn't wash your asshole. Anyways, I'm talking about Starstruck today.
He's Hollywood's it boy. She's a small town girl.
I don't know if this has already been discussed as Disney's attempt at doing the whole Justin Bieber thing, but that's my personal take, is that I think that they wanted Sterling Knight to be their Justin Bieber. 2009 going into 2010 is like peak Justin Bieber era. And my theory is that Disney was seeing this massive pop star that catered directly to their target audience.
Hopefully, she would have been a believer.
I don't know if y'all remember how popular Justin Bieber was. So in September of 2009, they started filming this movie and quickly released Starstruck in February of 2010. And I think my first problem with this movie is that the execution was not only ass, but the writing in this movie, even with their target audience in mind, annoyed me so much. Special shout out to their casting department for having Sterling Knight, who was about to be 21 at the time, have a love interest who was 14 at the time of filming. And then extra special shout out for Sterling Knight himself for not kissing a 14-year-old girl at Disney's request. And this is all speculation on my part, but I give Sterling Knight credit for that. Like, there's no way they didn't expect him to kiss his love interest in the movie. Fucking weirdos. The universe in this movie revolves around teen pop idol Christopher Wilde, who is supposed to be the Justin Bieber level famous guy in the time of filming. So you have Justin, who the media kind of portrays as his monolith in the music industry. And this movie introduces Christopher Wilde in the same way, except the name Christopher Wilde doesn't sound like a very popular pop star to me. Like, it doesn't give pop star. Christopher Wilde works in the Victorian coal mines, okay? He eats rations and asbestos. Was this someone's grandpa's name?
Grandpa!
What?
You smell like wet cheese.
You smell like wet shit.
Chris always appears on this cable show appropriately named Starstruck, where they talk about celebrity gossip news, and I only see them talk about our pop star friend. So maybe this show is only about Chris. Our other main character is Jessica, who I have a lot to say about, and her sister Sarah. Sarah is borderline stalkerish when it comes to Christopher Wilde. She knows absolutely everything there is to know about him, and I think she also texts him or something.
I'm an original member of his fan club. I follow his minute-by-minute blog posts.
And I text him every day.
I don't know, this movie was written by people who assumed teenagers were blogging, but didn't really know what blogging actually meant. So 95% of the time, Sarah only talks about Christopher Wilde all day at everyone else's expense. She's supposed to be a teenager, by the way, and that confused me because, like, when I first saw this, I assumed that she was like her college-age sister. And the actress herself, she's 27 years old in this movie. Where do I even begin with Jessica?
Jessica! Oh, I'm sorry, Sarah. Am I blocking your view? What's his name?
Jessica has had enough of Christopher Asbestos Wilde. She would absolutely love nothing more than to just burn all of his shit. The first thing I noticed when peeking at any discussion about this movie is that there's an overwhelming amount of hate for Jessica because of her bad attitude. I just want to point out that unlike the majority of the internet, I definitely take Jessica's side in most parts of this movie when thinking about the overall context surrounding her behavior. Like, to me, Jessica is just really tired of hearing this guy her sister has never met and has no way of understanding why her sister won't shut up about him.
I know where he works, eats, shops.
Clearly, this is something that is discussed 7 days out of the week. And you cannot tell me that this would not be driving you up a fucking wall watching your sister have a parasocial relationship with a guy she's convinced she knows who she has never met. And it literally makes zero sense. Like, it would make no sense to me personally.
And if you knew him, like I know him, you wouldn't say that. We live in Michigan. You don't know him.
The family is taking a trip to Los Angeles to stay at grandma's house, which is conveniently is where Chris lives because he's a celebrity.
What if he picks me up at the airport?
Why would he do that?
Chris always hangs out with his childhood friend and sidekick, who they named Stubby for some reason. Stubby exists as Chris's wingman. He follows him around and hangs out with him all the time. He gives him occasional wisdom. And every so often, he will rap in one of Chris's songs. Stubby was written to be entirely reliant on his friend Chris. He lives in his house for free. I'm pretty sure Chris buys him cars and possibly everything he's wearing. Like, at least make him somewhat self-reliant and famous himself. Maybe he is. I don't know. They just didn't really portray that well. They frequent a club that is only for people under 21. They named it Under 21 just so that we all understood that Sterling Knight was still young enough to be there. Alexis is Christopher's girlfriend, who is intended to be unlikable, but I personally think that she is fantastic.
You look beautiful tonight.
I know.
Wait until you see what I'm wearing tomorrow.
Wow. Stunning.
Chris's parents both assume the position of his managers and treat him more like a client than their kids. So he is presented with an opportunity from a big-time movie producer to start his very own movie on one condition. He stays out of the paparazzi.
All they see is a spoiled punk who likes to tangle with the paparazzi.
Chris's biggest obstacle is dodging the paparazzi, who always show up and take pictures of him just to make up things. You know how the tabloids are. I mean, look at this headline. Crabby Chris's camera combat? Shocked photographer tells all. I think Coolsville sucks.
I think Coolsville sucks.
The producer is telling him that his investors find Christopher to be too much of a liability because of the way he's portrayed in the media, I guess.
In the meantime, you keep your face out of the tabloids.
I think this plot point would have been more effective if the headline said, Christopher hates babies, or Christopher meth. We also learned that there is a dance coming up that Sarah put together with this girl. She tells Sarah that she's not invited because she doesn't dance well, or she doesn't like to dance.
Everybody's invited, Sarah. It's an all-school dance. The operative word being dance.
Embarrassing.
And then after embarrassing her in front of her peers, she talks about Chris again.
Talking, walking, singing, dancing. Moving. We've mapped out his every move for the past 18 months.
So Jessica and her family land in Los Angeles, and Sarah had all of her plans based around renting a car, except she didn't know that she had to be 25 to rent a car. Good thing she's 27. But this ends up not being an issue at all because Grandma has an extra car lying around that they can just borrow. But I guess the only reason that they put that in there is because they set up a joke that Grandma's car is ugly.
She runs like a top.
A super ugly top you'd never want to be seen in.
I'm gay and I have questions. Also, I'm pretty sure Mom and Dad are meeting Grandma's boyfriend for the first time, except they don't greet him at all.
We take care of each other.
Oh. Okay then. Grandma! Oh, Jessica! Oh, I'm so happy.
Hey, Howard. Nice to meet you. Thanks for fixing my mom's car. None of that. Later that night, Sarah finds out that Chris is going to be at the Under 21 club to sing for his girlfriend's birthday. Sarah also wants Jessica to go with her because she believes that that's going to be the only way that her parents would allow her to leave the house to possibly see him. So Jessica reluctantly agrees after Sarah vaguely promises that she'll stop talking about Christopher Wilde. And I think Jessica had a lot more leeway to maybe ask for chores to be done or something that justifies being dragged to a place in the middle of the night in a city that you know nothing about. In case you're wondering why two teenagers in Michigan would even be allowed to drive themselves to downtown Los Angeles in the middle of the night, all of the adults just let them do whatever they want. And to top it all off, Sarah illegally parks her grandma's car and tells her 14-year-old sister to stay in there while she tries to sneak into the venue. Chris and Stubby talk about how his parents are throwing a big party and that Chris really shouldn't be there, I guess, but instead, he is skipping out on that to sing at this Under 21 club for his girlfriend's birthday. For some reason, upon running into Alexis, who is trying to figure out where her boyfriend is, Stubby lies to her and tells her that he's not there.
Where's Christopher?
Oh, he couldn't make it.
Like, I don't know why. Also, Sarah grabs Stubby and tries infiltrating the building, but he seems okay with that.
Great. I'm gonna be here forever.
And then the movie immediately cuts to Stubby sneaking Chris in the back of the venue. Chris starts singing, Stubby starts rapping. A lot of time seems to pass because the radio announces that it's midnight.
And as we're rolling up on the midnight hour.
It's not until the end of Chris's set does Sarah find her way into the venue. So there's an entire sequence missing, I guess, that they just cut out. It really bothers me that I just don't know what happened to her in that time. Jessica has reached her breaking point because she's been waiting for a long time and decides to find a way into the venue to grab her sister so she can leave. She tries going through the back after seeing a bunch of people crowding the area, and upon walking up to the door, Chris opens the door into her face. Chris He's in immediate panic mode. He's like over apologetic to Jessica. And like Jessica hasn't even realized who she ran into.
Did I just hit you?
No, the door hit me by itself.
And Chris is expecting her to fully wig out, but her finding out who she was talking to just pisses her off even more.
I will give you 4 tickets to my next concert if you don't scream my name.
I don't want to see your stupid concert.
And you know, she was really rude here. Like, honestly, dude, I know you're having a bad night, but it was an accident. He did not mean to open the door in your face. He insists on taking her to an on-demand doctor immediately to make sure she's not dying, I guess for legal purposes. I mean, the door accident didn't seem that serious, but this just goes downhill from here. So Chris insists on taking her to his car. Stubby is asking a bunch of questions.
Who is this? What is your name?
Jessica?
Yeah, Chris, you stupid fucking moron. Stubby, ooh. She also throws up on Stubby's shoes. The doctor does a CT scan on her. She's just like sitting there waiting to be cleared so she can leave and go home. But Chris is interjecting every 5 seconds.
The CT scan was normal. Everything looks good.
So she's okay.
And then he ignores his phone ringing, which annoys the shit out of Jessica.
You gonna answer that?
No, but why can't you just answer your phone? Decline the call or throw the phone out the window. Do something besides just stand there and let it ring. On top of this, Chris finds out that the producer guy from earlier is at his parents' house for the party and that he immediately needs to head over there. The problem is that the paparazzi knows Chris is at the hospital and that they're waiting for him in the lobby. So the doctor lets Chris use his vehicle instead of the vehicle that he came in, and he drives off with Jessica in a car that might explode.
Are you sure this is safe?
Pretty sure.
I also didn't explain that the doctor is Chris's brother-in-law.
You two know each other?
To my sister's husband.
And Jessica feels kind of weird about that because it's like, is this guy a real doctor? That's what I would be thinking. The car is clearly unsafe. Jessica's probably suffering from a migraine and wants to go home, but Chris decides to critique her, about her attitude.
Just calm down, okay?
I don't want to calm down. I want to go home, okay? Ow, you disagree with everything I say. Do not. You too. Just take me home. I will.
When he probably could have just parted ways with her at the club and let her find her sister. Like, to me, this is all avoidable. And to make matters worse, he now tells her that she needs to go to his mansion because his parents want him there. I have some problems, okay? Because you lied to Jessica, a 14-year-old girl you already dragged to a hospital to make sure she can't sue you for what I deem to be a non-serious injury. You already know that she took a CT scan at your request administered by a doctor that also happens to be your brother-in-law, and then you then coerce her into getting into a vehicle that would not pass a state inspection, knowing that she's only sticking around to be driven home. And now in a moving vehicle, you're going, oh, by the way, I'm taking you somewhere entirely different that you didn't agree to. At this point, we're kidnapping. And when they get there, he has her hidden in one of the bedrooms while he mingles with the guests and does a whole performance. Jessica literally just wants to leave and go home. I would be suspicious that he was going to kill me or something.
Where are you going?
Anywhere but here.
What did I do now?
You said you'd take me home. When?
And he's like, okay, fine. I can take you home to your parents. God. And at this point, Jessica's not playing any games. She is unsatisfied with how her night is going and makes it clear that he needs to take her directly home. No pit stops or anything. Like, she does mock him a little bit, but I don't think she's overreacting in this context.
What's the purpose of that? I don't get it.
Bro, you kidnapped her and she has no idea where she is. Actually, I think she should have interrupted the party and went, help, I'm being kidnapped against my will. And then while he's driving her home, he plays one of his songs and sings it. No, that threw her over the edge. That pissed her off because he assumes Jessica is a big fan of his music and that she would be really impressed by that. But he's shocked when he finds out that she isn't a fan of his. As if she didn't make that obvious earlier. And I think that it's so real of her to read him to filth because the act of putting on his own music as some weird offering probably offended her.
Yeah, I think if you did know me, you'd really like me.
Oh, turn here.
After all that, you play one of your songs thinking it would lighten the mood, as if that, like, we're going to stage this as a moment that she should feel excited about. Play Hannah Montana or something. She was dragged around a city she's never been in by a stranger after midnight who tricked her into hiding inside of his house. She doesn't know you and you are doing too much. You are not entitled to her kindness at this very moment. And honestly, if you replace this scenario with some random non-famous 17-year-old driving around a 14-year-old that he didn't know, I think most people would interpret all of this differently. And the thing is, I assume that Jessica thinks that she will be blamed for all of this because she's probably held to a higher standard than her sister, who I am legitimately concerned about. Sarah should probably be institutionalized.
Look, I just want to say I'm sorry.
Noted. Are we done now?
Just when Jessica thinks that she'll finally be left alone, the paparazzi is now looking for his car in Grandma's neighborhood.
Go away.
Look, I'll give you $5,000.
He has Jessica help her manually push the car into the garage. I definitely think that they would have seen the car by now, so I don't think that pushing the car was needed. I have no idea where Jessica's parents are. Her sister, grandma, her man, like it's got to be at least 4 a.m. at this point. And as much as this makes no sense, he now asks to sleep in grandma's garage so he can hide or whatever. And I feel like he has so many resources where he could like call somebody to come pick him up in the vehicle that's non-identifiable. Your parents, Stubby, literally anybody. He also asks Jessica for something to wear as a disguise, and she tells him to just go pick something out in the garage. He pulls out Jessica's dead grandpa's fishing hat, and this is the first time that I've seen her happy about anything.
That was my grandpa's hat. He used to wear it when he took me fishing.
I don't know why that's doing it for her, whatever. Like, I guess I assumed that, I assumed that she would not want Chris to wear grandpa's fishing hat, especially since she'll probably never see him again after this. She starts acting all flustered anytime he does the Kevin James smirk. So now she's doing the thing where she's being mean to try and conceal having a crush on Chris. Would you be surprised if I told you that the next morning, not a single person had any discussion about Jessica strolling in at 4 a.m.? And I don't know when Sarah showed up. Could have been before, after. Did they all just go to bed without attempting to contact their daughters? Clearly nobody cares. Sarah is out of syrup for her pancakes, and Grandma tells her that the syrup is in the garage, which seems like a weird place to store that. So Jessica is trying to stop her from finding Chris in the garage, and Sarah mentions that she was talking to Stubby, asking where she went.
Stubby tells me that you decided to take a cab home. Oh, that cab!
As if she spent the evening with him and they're friends now. Like, I don't know. I'm confused. Is she friends with Stubby now? Jessica doesn't want her sister to find out what happened because she'll make a huge deal about it, whatever, and act weird. Dad walks in on this conversation and acts like he's onto them.
Mom and Dad don't need to know what.
Nothing.
But then he just grabs the syrup out of the garage. Like every adult in this movie is lobotomized. A new segment on Starstruck's TV program comes on about Chris's whereabouts and a new mystery girl. Ooh. Suddenly Jessica is freaking out, wanting to turn the TV off, which would make everyone around her start asking questions. Like, why aren't you shitting on Christopher Wilde like you normally do? You know what I mean? Instead, Grandma tells her to take the car to the beach.
Take the keys to my car and go to the beach.
Really?
Grandma might just be an idiot. Mom makes Sarah take Jessica along as well. And the beach that they head over to is, of course, Christopher Wilde's main hangout spot because Sarah wants to wear his skin or something. And she notices Chris sitting at the beach because he has Grandpa's fishing hat and goes to talk to him. But Jessica starts doing this thing where she's kind of nice to him, and then she reminds herself that she should actually continue being a fucking asshole to him.
There are about 10 paparazzi parked outside my house with their cameras.
Yeah, that is tough. Not.
Chris is now requesting that Jessica let him drive her grandma's car back to his house because the paparazzi won't recognize it. I'm also wondering why Chris is there in the first place. Like, because he drove his car to what is apparently a publicly known spot for him to be in. I also don't understand how he has absolutely no one that can come pick him up right now. He also keeps offering Jessica thousands of dollars, and I think she feels offended by the act of being paid off to do something. This part is confusing to me because it doesn't make any sense. Jessica insists on him handing her the keys to his sports car because if he drives Grandma's car, Jessica and Sarah will need one, otherwise they're going to be stranded on the beach.
Well, if you're taking our car, you can't leave us here without one.
So would they plan on driving the sports car back to Chris's mansion? Is Chris going to pay someone to drive Grandma's car back to her house? Would Grandma be okay with any of this? You know what? Yeah, her stupid ass probably would be okay with it because she's fucking, what the hell's wrong with her? This is where it gets confusing for me personally because Jessica swaps the keys to Grandma's car with Chris's and then puts them in Sarah's bag. Oh, you're going with him now. And at what point are you planning on at least making up a story for why you're vanishing from the beach? Jessica's like, hey Chris, look at my grandma's ugly ass car named Petunia. I forgot to mention that the car's name is Petunia. The paparazzi show up, so they're trying to sneak into Petunia. Not sure how this one suddenly doesn't warrant a CT scan. They could not make it look any more obvious that they're hiding. You have all these people walking around going, "Aw, man, we lost him. Let's try that random old woman's house again." This is a very short part of the movie where Jessica is mostly nice to Chris. They start singing one of his songs because her sister already has a CD in the car. Clearly, she has a different opinion about him singing along to his own music. They're hanging out, they're sightseeing. No one seems to recognize him because the fishing hat and sunglasses are really effective, I guess. I just feel like this is the first time I'm seeing Jessica genuinely look like she wants to be somewhere. And I also feel like she's intentionally being included here rather than being someone that isn't wanted there. Suddenly, the paparazzi are behind him. Jessica takes it upon herself to read a map and confidently tells Chris to drive into the desert. Chris is like, maybe we're lost. But Jessica doubles down and assures him that she knows where they're going because she thinks she knows everything. And this turns ugly really fast.
Here, this is the right road. I'm sure of it. I was sure of this.
Before they know it, Petunia is sinking in quicksand. Neither of them are handling the situation well.
I'll help you.
Don't touch me.
What is Grandma going to tell her insurance company? This never happens. Who could have predicted this? Jessica is not in a good place right now. She starts lashing out on Chris, blaming him for killing Petunia.
You killed Petunia!
Look at this. We'll be out of here. You're paying for a new one. I'm paying for it right now.
And I'm not saying that Jessica is rightfully pissed off about something that is a partial result of her refusing to admit that she can't read a map, but it also feels like she has a lot more to be stressed out about compared to Chris.
I just want to get home to my family, explain why I disappeared, and suffer the consequences.
Her grandma's car just got sunk into the desert. But I gotta say though, like Jessica, based on how your grandma and your parents treated your last adventure, I don't think you have much to worry about. I don't even think they're gonna notice. Chris does downplay their circumstances because he was having like a great day.
You know what I want? I want to have fun. No interviews, there's no crowds. I'm having a great time. I want you to stop complaining so I can enjoy it.
I'm sorry, Chris, like your grandma's car wasn't the one that was engulfed. She diverts to railing him about being famous and not really valuing the privilege that he has to be able to do anything that he wants to do. But then also she starts criticizing the relationship he has with his girlfriend because he doesn't really like Alexis, and is simultaneously hinting to Jessica that he has feelings for her.
Over the last 2 days, I've done nothing but think about you.
So when you hit me with the door twice.
You know, it's like back and forth, just trouble in the California desert, okay? They've just been through so much together. Actually, it's been a day. Then the next minute, they're swimming and everything's fine. Where did this water come from? They have a deep conversation about Chris's life, and he doesn't know if the movie is something that he wants to do. Also, Sarah is not the least bit concerned about where Jessica is. She found the keys to Chris's car. She drove to his house. Her and Stubby are talking.
Stubby?
Sarah?
Why do they interact like they speak on a semi-regular basis? Chris and Jessica, they walk all the way to the beach. I personally just think that it would take them longer to get there, but whatever. Like, it's not the only thing in this movie that doesn't make sense. They're holding hands, they're about to kiss, when suddenly Chris freaks out at the first person that he sees. Just put on the hat and sunglasses, Chris. That seemed to be working just fine earlier. And suddenly, he's like, all right, we gotta cut this off immediately.
Back to the real world. You know what happens next, right? This ends here.
I'm never going to see you again. He proceeds to demand her to never talk about seeing him to anyone, and that if the paparazzi sees them together, then it's going to ruin his movie deal. It's all about Chris.
You can't tell anybody about what happened today. Not even your parents.
And so far, she's just asking follow-up questions because why are you switching up so quickly, dude? And then he says that she's just an ordinary girl.
I'm Christopher Wilde. You're just an ordinary girl. Wait, Jess, wait.
Oh, that's not.
In the sense that
Which is quite possibly one of the worst things that you could say to a 14-year-old girl. And then TEMU, Justin Bieber, demands that she gives him the disposable camera that she has all their pictures on, you know, so he can like remove the evidence.
Wouldn't want the pictures to, get out.
Honey, the ocean's right over there. Just go on and kill him, okay? Girl, why don't you take back your grandpa's fishing hat? Could you imagine being in the phone booth and going, God damn it, that fucking asshole is still wearing grandpa's hat? Later that day, Chris is losing focus in the recording studio because he can't stop thinking about Jessica.
Yeah, I just can't get her out of my mind.
Who took this picture though? Even at this point, Chris is in the mindset of just forgetting he ever met the girl after he practically led her on while technically still being in a relationship. Which, by the way, Alexis shows up, shows zero interest in Chris sneaking off with another girl, and with no hesitation just points out how irrelevant Jessica is.
I don't want to know who she is. Is she an actress? Is she more famous than me?
No, she's not famous at all.
Then I really don't understand why you would pick her.
Let me pretend I care. Okay, I'm done.
And what I find so hilarious is that this is supposed to position me as a viewer to think about how shallow Alexis is. Except, where's the lie? And then she breaks up with him.
I have a date with Zach.
Are you breaking up with me?
Uh-huh.
And to every baddie watching this right now, this is how you deal with a cheater. What do you mean you're free? Like, they made it seem like Alexis was this overbearing and rude girlfriend, but he's the one who forgot her birthday and cheated on her. So Jessica and her family leave grandma's house, and I haven't seen them spend any time with grandma. And then as the family is leaving, they act like her new man isn't even there. This is the second time it's happened. I haven't seen them speak to him once. Oh, and grandma's just casually glossing over Jessica losing her car with zero explanation.
I've been trying to get rid of that ugly old car since your grandpa died.
Remember that Jessica is 14, no license. Sarah somehow got home by herself. No one knows where Sarah's been all day, and the car is missing. It just seems like an absurd amount of details to leave out. I personally don't even know how we got here. And grandma just tells her to give him some time.
Give him some time.
Insinuating that she suspects any shenanigans she's been involved in during her family visit has to do with the boy. I'm not even exaggerating when I say that none of this has been addressed. Over at Chris's house, he's getting grilled by the movie producer guy because he's been showing up at the tabloids again because his picture was taken with the mystery girl, aka Jessica. He tells Chris that his way out of this is to publicly call Jessica a liar in an interview and claim that she is just a fan and that he doesn't know who she is. Chris doesn't really hesitate here before completely throwing Jessica under the bus and lying about him even knowing her.
Yeah, she looks kind of familiar. Maybe I signed an autograph for her or something?
And as a result, it pretty much uproots Jessica and her family's life. Like, they have reporters camping outside their house. Jessica is publicly hated on, and the internet is like calling her a liar.
She just wants to be famous. She should get a life because she...
And then meanwhile, Chris is finally coming to the conclusion that something's wrong. He just can't seem to get into his music and claims that he can't figure out why. And Chris's dilemma really boils down to whether or not he's over Jessica. Like, it doesn't even seem to be about the act of him ruining her life.
I'm good, I'm over her.
Sarah seems to believe everything Jessica is saying and acts somewhat supportive, but seems more interested in the drama surrounding it than actually being there for her sister.
There's like a whole website devoted to what people think about Corsica.
Finally, Jessica walks outside and confronts the reporters with a heartfelt monologue about how the paparazzi's been treating Chris like crap, and that's the reason he's had to sacrifice the things that he wants.
He's talented and successful, but thanks to you, he's had to give up some of the best things in life.
And then at the end, she still denies knowing him to protect him while she's still suffering the consequences. So pretty much this entire monologue further made Chris looks like he has a top, but never addresses what this whole experience has put her through. So actually, I think that this is the one time that she should have actually been mean to Christopher for humiliating her on TV and for not returning her dead grandpa's hat. This all boils down to Stubby pointing out that Chris needs to start thinking about what he wants.
What do you want?
Right? Like, that's the issue here, right? Like, that Chris needs to be thinking for himself, not lying on TV and ruining a 14-year-old girl's life. Like, we're not gonna think about that part. So Chris makes his rounds after deciding that he now wants to take control over his own life. So he cancels the movie deal and he fires his parents. At home, Jessica is trying on dresses for her sister for the spring dance. Her friend is there, decides it's a good time to just drag Jessica through the mud.
It's so weird the way she made up that story about meeting Christopher Wilde.
I love how Sarah doesn't defend her sister at all. She does extend Jessica an invitation to take her to the dance. Just had to throw in that backhanded comment.
Let's make you pretty enough to be my sister.
They get to the dance. Seems like a lot of people are talking behind her back until, surprise, surprise. Christopher comes up just to the microphone. He sings a sappy song to Jessica, and she basically tells him that singing a song to her isn't good enough.
They could just come here and sing to me and everything would be fine.
Because actually, why should singing a song to her even be the bare minimum? Her life has been ruined as a result of his actions. Was he really going to expect her to want anything to do with him if he didn't publicly make a statement saying that he was the one who lied? From this perspective, it literally just looks like Chris singing a song to a fan. And then the Starstruck people come in and start filming him. And so he takes it upon himself to admit that he made up the whole lie. Jessica forgives him, Stubby raps, and the credits roll, and the end. I think in the context of who this movie was made for, The music was fun. I like Sterling Knight. I do like Danielle Campbell. They should have put them in separate movies. There's no reason why they should have been in the movie together. That aside, it probably should have been more of a musical rather than occasional performances and car jams being just thrown in to justify the music placement. I think utilizing the Star is Born format, but for kids, probably would have worked better. The story was pretty confusing and all over the place. And also, Alexis was very underutilized. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.